what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Let's Play World of Haiku. It is Monday. It is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And every single week, we're going live and we're showcasing the amazing products over at Haiku. Today is World of Haiku, and we've got a really, really special episode for you. I hope you're excited. We are going to be digging into a brand new feature called Haiku Forge. Now, you might be like, what is that? I'm not familiar with that. Well, just recently, the Haiku Forge product was named, and it had a couple like working title names, but essentially what it's going to be is it's going to be a capability for you and everyone else to design your own custom levels, your own custom storylines, the whole world of Haiku is basically going to be at your disposal for you to do whatever you want. So if you're an educator and you want to make some fun labs for your students, if you're doing a camp, you're trying to educate your kids, like whatever it is, you just want to mess around and have some fun, challenge the community yourself, Haiku Forge is going to be the tool that unlocks the entire World of Haiku for you. I'm super excited. We're going to go through the entire platform. I'm going to give you an early preview of it. It's not quite available to the mainstream public yet. This is an early preview release, and I'm super excited to have the opportunity to do this. We're also going to be joined, and this was not advertised. We are going to be joined by Director of Engineering and Lead Dev over the entire World of Haiku, including the Forge product, Vincent Alequo. I totally just butchered Vincent's name. He's off camera probably like, "Arr." But we'll bring Vincent on. He'll be able to answer any additional questions you might have, roadmap type things. Maybe if you have some suggestions you want to drop in, Vincent's definitely the ear that you want to be speaking into. I'm super excited. I hope you are too. Sit back, relax. We're going to have a great stream. I'll see you in there. What's up, Vincent? How are you, man?
Doing fantastic. How you doing?
Good, good. Chad, I'd like you to meet Vincent. Vincent is the brain. If you have enjoyed a single moment of World of Haiku, if you've enjoyed the streams, Vincent is the individual that we have to thank for it. Vincent, thank you very much for all the hard work you do for the Haiku team.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so let me go ahead and bring it on stream. You can see, guys, this is World of Haiku. Now, you may notice that there's an additional feature here. You wouldn't have this if you logged in right now, but I do. This is the Forge capability and what we're going to be spending most of our time today. So, Vincent, I kind of teased what Forge was, but what would you say, if someone were like, what is this Haiku Forge thing? Can you summarize it in, a kind of a nice little snapshot for us?
Yeah, so for anyone who's already familiar with the World of Haiku experience, right? You have a network, you have stories and missions and things like that. Basically, you can build all of that. So you can build out any network that you see in the World of Haiku game from scratch if you want, device properties, file systems, the whole shebang. And you can fully control what applications are available to the user. And you can also completely customize and build out a branching storyline visually in the game. So you can make your own mission completely within the game itself. Anything that we have been able to build as developers are completely open to you. It's a tool that we personally use to build all of the content for the game. So nothing is off the table.
Yeah, and that's really the amazing part, people. This isn't a tool that was designed to allow you to be creative in the platform. This is the tool that the devs built so they could build the platform. So it's just the same thing. It's going to be super awesome. I'm super excited. Before we drill into the Forge, I do want to say, yes, Carlos Orturo Ramirez, this is a World of Haiku. Hey, some of the regulars here, Jenny Housley, Alicia Jerry, Ben, Chris K. Hall. Really, really great to see all of you for the regular weekly streams and those blue SC badges. Wow, that's really awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and click Forge. And if you want to go check out World of Haiku, you can Google. Well, I guess, Vincent, what's the URL that we're sending people to now for World of Haiku? I think it's play.haiku, is it?
Yeah, so it's play.haikuinc.io.
Yep.
So we're going to be releasing tons of updates to the site itself. But for now, if you're curious, you can actually engage with the game fully in the web browser. And for if you are concerned about your game progress, you can actually log into your Haiku account on your desktop, and you can actually sync all of your current saves with our servers. And so when you go to the web, you can continue exactly where you left off. And this goes back and forth. So you can move between the web and desktop, and the exchange happens very seamlessly.
Yeah, like just yet another function or feature from the Haiku team that's just awesome. So cloud saves, web-based access, so you don't need to necessarily be stuck in Steam if that's not your jam. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm in the world of Haiku. I'm going to click on Forge. Let's take a look. You can see it has that traditional Haiku login as it loads up. All right, so as we start, we are presented with this interface. Now, you'll see it says Haiku Create. That will be updated to say Haiku Forge. That was kind of just the working title. And we're presented with Create New or select this existing one to edit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click the Edit one. As for the demonstration purposes, we have already built out a network, so we can show you what that looks like, so you're not watching us build it from scratch, but we'll go through all the functionality. So I go ahead and select Edit, and you can see we've got a full network that was built already, okay? So let's go iterate over these things. You can see it says Editor Mode. This is the creative format that we are building. You can see all these existing endpoints with network connections and etc. We'll go through that in a second, but starting over on the left, oh, James Randolph downloaded the trial. Very cool, James Randolph. Let us know what you think about it in chat. That'd be cool. So for the info, every single network is going to have a network name, a level name, and a file name. And this makes sense because, you know, at the end of the day, the network itself is a collection of data points, which is going to be captured in a file. Now, Vincent, correct me if I'm wrong here. Will there be the ability to save your file and share it or put it somewhere? What's the plan with that?
Yeah, so we are first going to be using a Steam Workshop to be able to completely publish and get whatever missions anyone else makes. We also allow for the opportunity to remix other people's missions as well. So if you're, you download a cool mission and you're like really excited about it, you're like, wow, how did they do that? Or you didn't like a particular aspect of it and you wanted to change it, by all means, it's completely open for you to do so and maybe publish a remix version of it on Steam Workshop. This functionality will also be attributed on the web, but that's going to come a bit later. We're going to first deliver it for Steam Workshop, as Steam already has the general architecture built out for it already, so it's a bit faster. And plus, we love the Steam community.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm playing this right now, is on the Steam platform, just so everybody knows we're all on the same page. All right, so you can see that's your basic info. Not a lot of great stuff there. Now we go into devices. Now this is where the magic really begins. So obviously you can see that on the map there are several devices. We have endpoints, we have routers, we have, networking devices, we have a firewall. So depending on what you want your network to look like, you can go ahead and add a device and, drop it and move it wherever you want. You can move it. Obviously, the connections are those network connections, and then you can delete devices. So just for the sake of example, I'm going to go ahead and just add a device really quickly. You can see from the drop-down list, we have network switch, router, SSH server, mail server, PLCs. So if you want to get a little OTICS action in there, we won't judge. You can do that. Workstation, web servers, FTP servers. Now, I do want to call attention to web servers. This is yet another piece of functionality that the World of Haiku team is begun to integrate in order to support more advanced tools that are attacking or, penetration testing, security researching. You have loud music coming from Haiku. Hold on one second. Okay, let me know, Matthew Pelkey. I've turned off my music that I had coming from Spotify. Let me know if the music in the background of the platform Haiku is too loud now, and I will get that sorted out. Vincent, on my streams, especially this last week as I've been working out of a new lab, I've had audio issues big time, man. So the community tries to help me out with it. All right. Now we're getting conflicting reports. James Randolph didn't hear anything. Let me know about audio, everybody. If there's a mod in chat, please ping me in Discord. All right, so I just want to point out that there's web servers now, guys. And web servers are allowing additional functionality from World of Haiku to incorporate tools that are targeting web servers like Dirbuster, SQL Map, Burp Suite, like Medusa, like all of these, well, not Medusa, but all of these kind of web application security research tools, that functionality becomes accessible when you start introducing web servers. So I'm going to put the music back on. You holler at me if it's too loud. Vincent, I don't think it's too loud.
Yeah, so that is something that we're not going to deliver very early within the Forge tool. It's mostly a database editor. So once the SQL Map, Dojo, and Quest are released, we're also going to be updating the Forge tool to include a database editor. Because right now, all those tools are internal, and because we need help automating databases because it gets kind of tedious overall. But technically, if you add a database to a web server, you can actually use SQL Map on it using the host name and using all the necessary services.
Yeah, and what I wanted to highlight to people isn't that this functionality is here. My point of pointing it out is that Haiku is really putting in the effort to put in the foundational pieces, right? Like you can't do web application pen testing or teach it through World of Haiku if you don't have web servers, right? So they have to go and put all that, infrastructure, frankly, in place. So definitely not a tease for any like specific tool or specific capability that's going to be released anytime soon. But the web server is a heck of a indicator that we are going to be getting kind of web application pen testing capabilities in the near term. So you can see we can add all these devices. I'm going to just drop a PLC really quickly, or actually I'm going to drop a workstation just because I want to show how that works, okay? So one workstation, you can see I could put it anywhere I want on the map. This map's already been built, but I'll go ahead and drop it right here. Whoops, hold on. Why can't I drop it? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Stand by. I'm going to pick this. I'm going to add device. I'm going to choose the workstation. Do I drag it?
No, I think you just missed it. I don't know exactly how you manage.
That's all right. That's okay. I think I clicked it off stage, but that's fine. So here's the deal. You've got all these different workstations and endpoints, and you can click on it. Now, one really cool thing is if you were to get a range from someone who already has developed it, right, you can actually see what they're doing. So you go to the Properties tab, right, and you can click and you can see, okay, this is this workstation, right? And if I want, I can actually change it dynamically right now into another device. Let me go ahead and get the screen just a little bit bigger for everybody. One interesting thing, very configurable. You can make it discovered on start or not discovered on start, which means you can make it. You can make part of the network not visible and rely on the player, the student, the person, the CTFer, whatever you want, to have to nmap scan, do recon, uncover those network segments, which is a really nice, powerful capability. One thing to point out, device name, you'll notice this kind of unusual naming convention. Now, this is an internal naming convention. My understanding, this is a pre-beta release that I'm playing. When it does go for the mainstream public to consume, the device name will be configurable to be a much more intuitive, like whatever you want to name it, right? So if you want to name it Greg Casey Workstation 1 and Jess Ben Workstation 2 and the Simply Cyber, firewall, you can do all that and that'll be completely possible. But for now, it's done that way. Obviously, you'll be able to give it a computer name, a host name, a message of the day, which is always fun. Especially if you're developing your own ranges and providing them. I could imagine really, really easily, like, be sure to check out Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. You know what I mean? Like the way, if you guys have seen it in other creative tools out there, when someone designs, thank you. If someone designs something, they'll put like a little bit of a kind of a shout out or a call to action where you can find more about that author. That's what I would do with this message of the day. The OS version, you can really customize it to be like, you know, if you're simulating a real environment like Windows 10, Windows 11, Ubuntu 17, whatever, you could do that. But you could also name it like, this is a completely fabricated Linux system that does work. So you could name the operating system, you know, Vincent OS, right? It's the newest version, Vincent. He just came up with it. And then obviously the OS version. We can add listening services. So you can see here all the options. We have FTP, SSH, SMTP, DNS, POP, and so many others. We'll go ahead and leave SSH open. Hey, Adrian Harris, good to see you. James Randolph said they want a Discord channel just for this feature. I would agree to that. I would imagine that there will be I could even see a category, frankly, on the Discord server for the Forge tool. So channels underneath it for troubleshooting or tips, tricks, and helping. A channel for sharing. Because again, there's going to be an entire share capability of these ranges. So I definitely could see that, James Randolph. Thanks for the suggestion. You can see here that we have SSH port 22. It's defaulted to that port, but I could even envision, like, I was thinking about this morning while I was getting ready for this stream, like port 1990 or 1999 0 or yeah 19,990, right? There's no reason SSH can't listen on an unusual port. You can configure it to do anything you want, right? So this could be a way to like hide an SSH port, make it a little tricky for your students or other players to find it, right? Forcing them to use that nmap-p- flag instead of just a regular nmap scan. I love it. All right, and then of course you can add a user. I'm going to go ahead and add a user. We're going to put in Jerry, and the password is Carl. Right, here we go. Got the Carl going on in the background. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and hit Apply Changes. All right, so now this workstation right here, and you can see if I go back into it, let me do this really quickly. If I go back in, it does save state. You can see the Jerry Carl account is there, right? What's up, Paul Grizulius? How's the left coast doing, my friend? Hope everything's good. All right, so, whoops. Did I lose my mic? Hold on. Did I lose my mic? I think I did.
I think we hear you, Jerry.
Hold on one second. I think I may have lost my mic. Can we get confirmation?
We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Then I can't hear myself. That's really, really weird. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry.
Your internal dialogue is gone.
No, I'm good. I'm good. My earpiece unplugged from my mixing board, and I have like a feedback loop going so I can hear if my mic is hot. And yes, that just happened. Okay, I got to tell you, Vincent, I've ordered a new microphone. It's coming on Thursday, I think.
Oh,
I'll tell you
we'll
what,
hear
guys.
your voice in crystal clarity soon.
No, I know. I really think I half believe that the Simply Cyber community shows up just for the audio issues, but I love it. All right, guys. So you're going to be able to do all of this as far as creating and looking at devices. Now, interesting here that this is showing up that way. All right, so we've lost that capability to add devices, but let's look really quickly at files now. And guys, I'm kind of slow playing to get to the mission tab. This is the best tab on the whole board, okay? So let's go ahead and look at files. You can see properties and import and export. So if we want, you can actually design or develop your own files, right? So I could have a like I don't know, like let's say again from a marketing perspective or from a educator perspective, you could have a list of all your teachable courses, right, as a file, like a README file, and drop it on the box on all the boxes. So you could, in theory, not only have an educational network that you're providing to people, to the community, but you could also incorporate additional files and stuff like that for marketing purposes. Or if you want to include a file, I was thinking about this with Vincent before the stream started, a file that has a bunch of username and passwords that's hidden on the workstation that is part of the player uncovering instead of having to do it directly one for one inside the tool. So you can definitely import or export if you want to do that yourself. From the properties, you can see, Vincent, I'm trying to see if I can find.
You actually have to click on you actually have
to
click on a device.
Okay, so I'll click on this
one.
one.
You should, yeah. So if you open up the files and click on a device itself, it'll populate the file explorer. And there's nothing there, but you can kind of, it's all the stuff basically that somebody would have access to in the game itself. So right now, all these are currently empty. I sent you an empty, so it's an empty network of files. So you can really just add, probably in hindsight, I probably should have sent you some populated, but you can right click anywhere in there and be able to create whatever content you want. And then be able to, once you click on a file or a directory within the file explorer, all of the properties appear, such as file attributes. This is where you would be able to create a database, for example, an image or a horseman virus if you want, or really anything of that matter. So any type of file that you see, or a zip file. So any kind of file that exists in the game currently, you can create using the file explorer. So if you click on, I don't know, your secrets, you can really change it to whatever you want.
Yeah, so I've created 2 folders in the root directory, and you can see one is my secrets, one's Jenny Housley's secrets. Jenny's always helping out big time with the stream, so I like to bring Jenny into the stream. So go ahead and click on my secrets. You can see I've drilled into that directory. Again, I can create files and folders as you would imagine, and then we'll call this one like, you know, passwords. Shh, you know, okay. Now, when we right-click on it, what is it? Properties, or how do we change?
Yeah, do you want to? You can probably just refresh the file system. This is an early beta. It's fixed locally on my screen. On my screen, you have the published version. So, I don't know. You can refresh it. I don't know. All this stuff gets fixed eventually.
What do you mean? In like
you can probably just like. I wonder if you can just like close the file app and reopen it. Do troubleshooting live.
Okay, no problem. So let's check this out. We'll go ahead and click on this.
You can just click on you don't need to click on the device before opening up the app itself.
There we go. So now we're in secrets, my secrets.
Yeah, interesting. All right.
All right, let's try a different machine here. We'll do this one over.
Gotta love that. Yeah, that's all fixed locally. It's kind of wish I gave you the one I have on screen. So.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
Bummer.
So we can go ahead. You can also import a file like I had mentioned prior. Yeah. And you can do it for all the boxes. So again, guys, and we're about to get into the mission section of the thing. But yes, you can create a network and play and stuff like that. But one thing I really want to point out to you guys, let me go full screen here a little bit. One thing that you really need to understand, this tool has massive functionality, right? Massive capabilities to design whatever you want, however you want, with as many endpoints, as many services. You know, let your imagination run wild. But what I will say is, to really take maximum value of this, you're not going to just like sit down and be like endpoint, 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 file, file, file. Like, you'll want to take a moment and think, what do I want this network to do? What is the lesson I'm trying to teach? What is the challenge or the puzzle I'm trying to create, right? So maybe if you're doing a CTF for an event, NahamCon just finished, right? Simply CyberCon's coming up. Maybe you wanted to make a special range for that. Maybe you're volunteering for the Boy Scouts or something, right? And you wanted to, or the Girl Scouts, and you wanted to make a range. Like, you have to have a concept of what you wanted to do you might not know exactly how many endpoints, how many routers, switches, whatever, but you need an idea of like, what's this thing going to look like? So then when you go in, you can design the network to make it look like what you're thinking, right? You got to storyboard it, okay? So now let me do this. Vincent, do you have any thoughts about that before I move on? About my idea that you need to have a concept of what you're going to do before you go buck wild in here?
Yeah, no, you really do. It's very difficult to build out a network without having some sort of context, some sort of narrative context. That's always how we built out networks for the World of Haiku, is that we always started with some sort of, whether it's we wanted to highlight exploit, a tool, but really the story is what drives the creation of the network and what's there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, so let's get back into doing this. Now is the real part. Bilbo, the real Bilbo says, glad he found the group. Been a lurker for a few months. Team replay. All right. Happy to have you, real Bilbo. James Randolph has a concept for a map. He wants to mess with other users in the craziest way possible and hide Easter eggs everywhere. You can do that, James Randolph. That is completely
We've hid Easter
possible.
eggs. I don't know if anyone's found them, but we've hid secretive things everywhere.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go, people. If you did not know, there are Easter eggs all throughout World of Haiku, and the mainstream version that's available right now, not just this early pre-release that I'm showing off right now. Okay, so guys, we've shown you how to kind of build the network statically, but now comes the wicked powerful part, okay? This is the mission tab. Now stay with me. We've already built out a mission for the sake of demonstration purposes, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and select the mission. If you have already created a mission, it would be here. If someone's giving you a saved network for a challenge or whatever, like James Randolph is like, here's my Easter egg range, it would show up here. We're going to go ahead and pick the break-in, and you can see it immediately transitions. So there's a lot going on here. Let me take you on a little tour. Okay? Looking at the left, first of all, this is the core information right now, the general info tab. We're seeing the core information about this mission, okay? You're able to control the network color and lights, right, Vincent? This is for the actual map itself.
Yeah, you can customize. When you jump into a network, you can have a default theme. So, for example, some of the networks are, I guess, what would it be called? Agenda 20. Yeah, the Agenda network is like a red theme to it. And there's also some different lights that are positioned around to kind of add some dynamic effects, and that can also be customized. Actually, everything in the game can be customized. Whether it's, the timers as well, what kind of music you want to have playing, what kind of avatar you want the player to have.
Is the music, are you only currently able to select from existing music, or can you upload your own music? If you
that's a great question. Yeah. I don't see why not, personally speaking, but right now it's really just the existing music that's in the game from, even some of the, if you wanted the fail states to even be the main music of your network to really discourage people, by all means, it's all there for you.
That's cool. So, yet another way that I could see you kind of like fingerprinting or, signing your ranges. So like if you always have the same music or your range has a certain color scheme to it, like I think that that's another way to have like a consistent, identifiable jam, right? So you're like, oh, this is one of James Randolph's ranges. I can tell immediately because of the color scheme or because of the music. I think that that's super cool. Again, guys, this thing is like unbelievably configurable. You can
also hide file systems. So if you don't want someone to use the file system app, you can disable it and remove it entirely, so nobody can use it.
Oh man, that's harsh. So then they have to use terminal.
You have to use the terminal, yeah, or anything. So if you wanted to get rid of basically any feature, right? You wanted to get rid of, there's the options down there. You can get rid of the skill tree. You can get rid of the web browser, the notes, the manual. I don't know why you would get rid of the manual, but it's there. It's just an option.
There you go. There you go, guys. So you could torment people. You could strip it down. It could be an absolute bare bones instant with just the shell, and it's almost like Zork. Like like you wake to find, and I forget how Zork starts, but you wake to find that you're like standing at a gate. What do? Like no tools, no nothing, and you got to figure it out. I like that. Now here's what I want to show you. This is the general info stuff, but now let's take a look at the mission steps. Now you'll see here on the right, the mission steps editor. This is where the magic happens, and this is really where the true power of World of Haiku can be realized. Now I'm going to zoom out here so you can see this whole mission. Now this is a very semi-sequential mission, but you can see right here, it's straight, going through steps. Then there's a decision tree, choose your own adventure. You have to do 2 different things before you can complete it. Again, a decision tree, 2 things before complete it. And then you reach this massive decision tree where you have to complete 5 different operations before you're able to move forward. And then it finishes. So the reason we're demoing this particular level that was built using the Haiku Forge is because it has a little bit of everything for you to see. Now, I want you to realize, first of all, there are 4 types of steps that you can work with. One is a required step, which is in red. Required means the player has to do what it says in the red step. This allows you to control flow of the gameplay, right? If you're trying to teach Nmap, or you're trying to not have them jump directly into the target box, but have to kind of worm their way through the network, these required steps are going to allow you to control that flow. Required goal is another one. It's a written goal required to complete the mission. Now, I believe this is tied to the required steps, correct, Vincent?
Yeah, so this actually is the actual 1B mission, a direct copy of it, but it's localized to your system. So any edits here obviously not going to actually affect it.
Yep. Exactly. So you can see here, I've selected this top green bubble, right? And from the drop down, I can choose one of the 4 steps that are defined right here. So we have a kind of a legend to explain what it is, and then we choose the 4 steps. Now, if you see, if I change it to a required step, well, I'd have to apply the changes, but it would turn red. You could see on this first step, by scrolling down, we have these different commands. Now, these commands are not commands that you're executing or the player is executing. What's up over on LinkedIn? What you're executing or what the player is executing inside of the terminal shell, this is a command within the language that is the Haiku Forge, right? So that's a very important distinction. This is the Haiku Forge language. And there is, if I'm not mistaken, Vincent, there will be guidance around these different commands.
Yeah, we're going to be providing tons of documentation. We're trying to work to make stuff as human readable as possible. It definitely looked like a programming language when we were working on it. So basically, it's a translation of all of this, more difficult to understand terminology. But all this stuff is basically the first block is always setup. So, for example, if you wanted to add notes or you wanted to auto connect somebody to a particular device, or you just wanted any action to happen at the very beginning of the mission. Or, for example, set up all your hashes that somebody might be able to see, that would be a phenomenal place to build it out. So it's just the setup primarily.
Yeah, excellent. So you can see here, we've got our different commands for this first block here, and they're all listed right here. Rascal's doing the Nitro app is like the in-game mobile device that you get text messages on. You can see the show the message. This is what Rascal's going to say. Again, there are some very specific keywords that you can use, right? So open bracket player name, close bracket. This will allow you to specifically call out whatever the variable is for the player name. So if it's James Randolph, Matt McDaniel, Carey, whatever it is, it's going to populate it here. So it makes it a more personalized experience for your player. Also, we have access to some fundamental HTML, it looks like. Is that how I would read this, Vincent? Some fundamental HTML?
Yeah, so it's pretty basic. We have built out some more customized ones, but it's pretty standard. So this gets converted into its visual self. That allows us to add like tables, basic formatting, different text styling options.
Yep.
We even have images. So we've converted a lot of images and sprites into a font that you can also utilize in the text here. You can reference variables. You can reference hashes as well, all within here. And this also gets translated into the notepad, so the actual file editor. So when you create files, you can also use that exact same type of styling there for basic formatting. And we have an option there in the file editor that allows you to toggle between what it's rendering and what the actual code behind it is.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So that's just the Nitro step, the first one. Let's take a look at a required goal, since this is kind of like, what you'll be doing to control the player. Again, you can see that it changed to required goal down here, and we have a step ID. That's just a unique identifier, nothing crazy, right? I'll zoom in a little bit here. You can see here, we have very similar, right? You got this message that's going to be on start. Again, these are saying these commands are happening. This is a command inside of the World of Haiku Forge tool. Again, documentation will be provided. You can see it auto connects, and we show the device to workstation 1. So you're going to SSH automatically to that box. And I wanted to drill down here to show you this. This is what makes it a red box. This is what makes it a required field. If the player does not run "Who am I" on this specific device, right?
You can just type "Who am I" on any device, but you can lock it to it.
Oh, okay.
It's an optional parameter.
Yeah, there's no parameter, so it's a wild card. Any will work, but you could lock it down.
Yeah.
So the player cannot advance until they've done this, right? Who am I on it? And then it continues.
There's a lot of options under there too. It's for basically every single. So I mean, it's basically every single application that we have. Zion, App Open, Hydra, ifconfig, SQL Map, Netstat, IP tables.
I'm also seeing some interesting unreleased commands in here. Very nice.
Yeah.
Early drops.
But yeah, so you can also really specify, I want somebody to use IP tables, but specifically use this parameter, and this parameter, and that can be itself a particular flag. And so again, anything that you're seeing inside the World of Haiku as a story progression tool, or just how we're setting stuff up narratively, is entirely built out here. We used this to build out everything. So this got a bit of a style update. So really it was an external tool that we built to generate all the files that we then imported into the game. But now it's actually fully integrated into the environment and has a bit more visual flair to it to make it far more accessible. But we're getting there. We're getting more accessible, as Jerry pointed out. It's a bit some of the language needs to have some documentation or just being reworded in its entirety. So
yeah, and again, if you're just getting here, this is an early preview of a tool that's yet to be released, Haiku Forge. It's coming soon, and it's going to allow you to develop whatever your mind can come up with inside of the World of Haiku platform, which is incredibly powerful. I'm excited about it. Let's go ahead and scroll down. I want to give a shout out. A lot of people are digging this idea. I dig this idea. James Randolph said, "It'd be cool to develop ranges built on your favorite Darknet Diaries episode." That's very cool, James. That's like really a cool idea to incorporate two different things that are awesome, right? Darknet Diaries and World of Haiku. I do like that. Let's scroll down and look at one of these decision tree points. Okay, so we've got a multi-step. We insert this. What are we doing here? When we say multi-step, there's no additional configuration.
It just marks a branch off, so it's just basically a wall.
Okay, so if I wanted to add another
blocks.
step or another goal, I would do it here.
Yeah, and you can also reorganize all the blocks as well if you want. But yeah, so you can.
Very cool. So you can see here, the way it's been told to me, let me get down to the bottom there.
This was objectively the most difficult thing to translate. It's very complicated. Thank you, Jerry, for having to deal with how complicated this story tool is when it comes to there's so many variables and things like that to engage
of course,
with.
Yeah. And your team is doing just a killer job of breaking it down and making it accessible to Unity developers, frankly. Aaron Henry wants to know when this is going to be pushed out. Is this tied to Volume 2, or is this tied to something else?
It's not tied to Volume 2. So for Steam users, this is going to be a free update for everyone to be able to build whatever they want, share whatever they want, and be able to play other people's missions and tools. So it'll be free and accessible on Steam in particular. The web version, we're offering some other special packages for that, and we have to host it. So that's a different story, but I'll let our other teams talk about that. But for Steam, that's all yours. You don't need to buy anything or download anything specific. It's going to be integrated directly into the existing World of Haiku application.
That's awesome, and I'm excited. Like, one of the things, so like, guys, and what's up, Chuck Zapp? I see you in chat now. It's good to see you, and thanks for the question, Aaron. One thing that I am particularly excited about is, like, you can have ideas of like what these tools can do, or what, like, come up with your own thought of like, oh, here's a cool story idea or a cool network. But like, for me, I love seeing the creativity of the community, of individuals who have different perspectives, different life experiences, coming up with cool, innovative ways to use the tool, storylines. So I'm personally super excited, not only to have this functionality like released, but to see how people are going to use it. So Vincent, I don't know if you can talk about it, because if you can, let me know, and if not, that's fine too. As far as like what's the vision, like if I want to share my cool world with James Randolph, or Chuck Sapp made one and he wants to share it with Paul, like what's that look like? Is it just in the conception stage right now?
Yeah, so at least on Steam, we're going to be heavily utilizing Steam Workshop's functionality when it comes to pushing up content, right? So anyone would be able to see all the missions there that everyone has been able to make. They can rate them, add comments, do anything. If anyone's downloaded, mods from the, like a Skyrim, Steam Workshop thing, it's kind of the same thing, basically. It's a nice little curated community of tools that we will be connecting to exchange this information. But all of this stuff is serialized and stored on your local machine as well. So if you just wanted to ignore Steam Workshop altogether, you could just hand somebody some files or set up whatever distribution you effectively want. All of this stuff is completely transferable, shareable. They're all small, tiny files, and they are all able to be read by our game. That's also why anything that works on Steam Workshop would also be able to be translated for the web when we ultimately get there at some point.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, so very versatile, very flexible. James wants to know if they can use hashtags to make them easier to find. So James, are you saying that you like, if you wanted to share, like, oh hey, I made a map and it's up in Steam, go check it out.
We are looking at tags, being able to add tags to.
Yeah, so you can make it quick and easy for someone to find your specific range.
Yes. Yeah, we are looking at that. It's currently all in development, and we'll have plenty of information to share, but it's nothing that's like private or anything. Like we're building this, we're having this public stream right now, and it's going to come out soon. And we're using Steam Workshop, which has some series of expectations, and feature wise, I think everyone generally understands all the capabilities. So we're not really hiding much there.
I love it. James Randolph using the hashtag Simply Cyber.
Honestly, we could, yeah, we could also attribute missions as well. So we could have like developer curated missions that we could push up. So lots of fun stuff on the table, and I'm actually honestly really excited to see what the community is able to build. I feel like a professor in cybersecurity is going to do a lot better job in building out some cool networks than like I personally could.
Yeah, Aaron KG wants to know, would you be able to create CTFs easily? Would you be able to host this on a competitive place like Black Hat, Cybersecurity Cons?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, you're really restricted based off of, the tool sets and the networks that you're able to build. And honestly, your imagination. That's basically it. It's your imagination and the restrictions imposed by the technology you're using. You can break stuff if you want. We're just allowing you to do whatever, which is great. So if you want to be able to build out something like that, like have some cool like SQL map, like web server hackathon kind of thing, like why not? That'll be exciting. I actively encourage that.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Aaron. That was a good one, and 100% right. You definitely can do that. James Randolph, okay, this is a good question. Wants to know, Vincent, are we talking weeks, months?
I would say more so weeks. We're on our final legs here. We are going to be doing a closed beta program instead, just to be able to get some live feedback from our players before officially like just releasing this out into the wild. So it's going to be a private branch on Steam, and we'll be giving limited access to people who sign up to try it out, give us all their valuable feedback, and really help build the tool with us, basically, with their useful.
Yeah, and if you're looking to, like, say you want to volunteer for that, I think the early release already has enough volunteers for that. But what I would say is joining the Haiku Underground Discord server would be like a best practice here. So I'm going to drop that link in chat. If you're interested in this tool, if you want to follow it, the Haiku Discord is how that information is disseminated in like a more expedient form. So I just dropped a link in chat. You can definitely giddy up on that if you want.
The more the merrier. Honestly, it's more feedback for us. We're only so many people, and we've been so close to it for so long. It would be nice to, have people, unintentionally or intentionally break things in ways that we never could have guessed. So, well, like, Jerry, you just broke something that I never would have guessed. So that's great.
Well, so I think they have enough beta testers, but I might be mistaken. James Randolph, if you want to DM me on Discord, I can find out if they if there's if there's room for more, and certainly get you set up.
So to answer Aaron's question as well, it is going to be built directly into the game. It actually does require itself to be in the game. It shares a lot of resources with the existing terminal that we built out, file system. It would be kind of cumbersome for us to really, isolate it on Steam in particular. On the web, that might be a different thing. We are planning on being able to isolate just like a dojo, a mission, a quest, as well as this mission tool as well, the Forge. So we'll see in the future. For right now, it's all going to be on Steam.
I like it. Thanks a lot for the question, Aaron, and great response, Vincent. So here we are. We're doing all of our things. You can see as we get to the end, we get this massive decision point. Again, what we're looking at here is if you're familiar with the dojos on World of Haiku, where there's like 5 flags and you can't beat the dojo until there's 5 flags, this is essentially what it looks like under the hood. Each one of these needs to be completed before you're able to get to this decision point right here, or this action block. So these are essentially the 5 flags for the dojo, and you can create as many as you want. So a decision point, a multi-step step is not limited to 2. It's not like a fork. Like you can have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 25, 50. Like you can go as deep and as wide as you want with it. You just have to create a something that's required to be done, whether it's nmap or who am I or ping or curl or whatever it is that you want them to do, that you can do it here. So I do like the versatility of allowing the developers and the designers to make it in their own vision. Jenny Housley's liking it. She's thinking it's cool. Jenny, definitely a savvy InfoSec pro and a seasoned CTF player. I would be curious to see what she comes up with Haiku Forge. Very interesting to look forward to.
I do want to quickly point out that this is going to, just be on Steam, but down the line, this is just going to be translated to the web. So it's either going to be on 2 platforms, either on the web or on Steam. There's not going to be any other medium that we're distributing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it should at least be more accessible, I suppose, in that way, because you could technically access it on any web browser you want.
I like it. And then finally, I just want to point this out. Like the way to end a mission, you don't need any special kind of term state or end state. To revisit our Algorithms 311 book, Vincent. I don't know if you had to take algorithms in undergrad or not, but the big white book with the red polygon images in it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, not particularly. That must be a different.
Oh, I'll bring it up. Everybody's had to take it, but it's whatever. Finite state automatons. Anyways, you don't need to have some kind of end state, and you can see it's going to show the message. You can have it complete the mission. Now, interesting, Vincent, that this particular one does not have complete mission as its final state.
So it depends. I could probably get into some of the technicalities a bit deeper. Not now. I don't know. Right. There's a lot of information when it comes to building out networks in terms of standards, but typically speaking, a good chunk of them do actually have a complete mission flag. But we do have cases where it just detects it. So you're not able to self-sabotage yourself by accidentally, not completing it. So that's kind of up to you.
I love it. Bye, Jenny Housley. Jenny's got to drop. We are almost at 5 o'clock. Really quick, we're going to ask you Chad Green's question, but just for the sake of this argument, this is the Algorithms book. Vincent, you never saw this book?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, this book was this book. I still have wake up and fever dreams because of this book. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like big O notation, like writing more optimized functions and stuff, like the things that I don't do anymore. I just cobble together code. All right. Chad Green over on LinkedIn wanted to know, and this might be a little peek behind the curtain, Vincent, so, share as little or as much as you want. But any type of engineering speed bumps, little stories from the trenches?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's been primarily accurately serializing and deserializing the data in a way that, is optimized and makes sense. It's been a real challenge. And then also, when we first built this out, it was still an internal tool for us. We actually had to rebuild our entire editor from scratch a second time, because when we had a whole brand new design from our wonderful design team, we just ended up having to just rebuild it. However, we were able to rebuild it from a bit more optimized this time, because before it was really just internal. We didn't really care as much, as long as it was able to, generate the appropriate data, and it was, relatively stable. But we all knew the workarounds and the caveats and things like that. All things that are definitely not suitable for anyone else to use but us, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the real challenge, was really, well, crap, we have to know. We have to rebuild it a second time with this new UI, which you're seeing here. And there's always little, issues here and there because it's a whole tool. It's a whole, like, there's a bajillion ways to interact with the exact same thing. So
Yep.
we're always finding weird ways or weird series of actions that users are doing to get some unexpected result. And then we patch it, but we patch it only when we find it. That's why we have this beta program, so that more people can do weird things, break it in all these strange ways. And hey, now we know. We can't fix what we don't know. So this will be a really fun little experiment. So hopefully, as people know that it's going to be an experience. But it's always been a challenge. We're always building new functionality as well. It's a completely evolving product. We're building extensive shell functionality, for example. That's going to be all built into the mission editor as well. As we move closer and closer to people being able to automate processes all within the game as well, we'll get there.
Yeah, that's one thing that's definitely worth pointing out that I feel like is lost on a lot of people. So guys, if you say you own World of Haiku, or you played it a few months ago and you're just catching this stream because you're like, oh, this cherry or whatever, and you think that you got World of Haiku, oh yeah, no, I remember I played through it, that was cool. It's constantly being changed. There's constantly new functionality being added to it, new concepts, new maps, new worlds, new avatars, a level builder, right? They are adding tons of stuff. So if you haven't seen World of Haiku in a minute, you might want to go revisit it, or at least check out the what do they call it? Is it the patch notes or whatever? What's it called?
Oh yeah,
release notes.
Yeah. There's a lot of release notes, lots of dense information. If you want to, have a wonderful, want to fall asleep to our very long technical patch notes, that's totally fine. But yeah, we're totally adding new things all the time. It's always really exciting. Honestly, when it comes to the trajectory of the World of Haiku experience, it's really, hey, we're going to build out some new content from first party, us developers. But also, we want to really establish the World of Haiku as a really versatile sandbox for everyone to be able to build out the most accurate experiences they can within our simulated system. And that means making the terminal accurate, building out tons of new tools. We always have an ear for recommendations and new things to build out. Honestly, we just need a fun excuse, basically, to build out new things because we love it. We love building out and just fun R&D experience and
so
all the tools. Good. Yeah, it's great.
James Randolph's already got an idea for the Forge, and he's not going to disclose it until after he takes action on it. So.
Oh goodness! All right.
Yeah. So we've got an early plan in place. James Randolph. I look forward to sharing that. Maybe we can. Maybe on the Simply Cyber community, we can run some type of contest or giveaway or raffle or something. You know what I mean? Maybe we can do something like that if Haiku wants to play along, and maybe I don't know, we can give away a Haiku shirt or access to Haiku Pro or something like that. We'll have to have a talk and figure out. But I think it could be fun, just as kind of a fun way to launch it. Jose Alfredo says this is a good problem to have, Jose. Has a hard time turning the game off once he starts.
For a second, I thought that was a bug, and I was like, what does that mean?
No. Spoken like a true dev.
Palpitations. Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah, spoken like a true dev. No. All right, guys, so check it out. We've been playing and showing off World of Haiku's Forge capability. You can see it right here. This is early pre-release preview, okay? So you cannot go into World of Haiku right now and play Forge. This has just been a pre-release early access preview, but I hope that now that you've seen it, you can fully appreciate how fun it can be to build your own network, your own challenges, your own story. You can take it wherever you want. If you're creative, this could be a lot of fun. If you're looking to contribute to the community in a fun way, and you haven't kind of found your niche yet, this could be it, right? You'll be able to share these levels publicly, and both from a fun perspective, CTF-ish perspective, but also from an educational perspective. So I personally am super excited for this thing to go public and get pushed into production. I'm excited to see what creative people can do with it. I don't fancy myself very creative, but I do really enjoy seeing some of the fun stuff that people have. So it's been good. Vincent, any final thoughts before we end the stream here, buddy?
No, this has been a great. Really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So if you're interested, go. It's called World of Haiku. You can find it on Steam. You can go to play.haiku.io, which I'll drop in chat right now for everybody, haikuinc.io, to play it on the web base, which is super awesome. As soon as, there it is. Right? There's the URL. You can go there and play yourself. We've been chatting with the Director of Engineering, Vincent Alequo. Is that correct?
Alequo.
Alequo. I'm sorry, Vincent. Alequo.
No, it's totally all right.
Yeah, no problem.
Happens all the time.
All right, everybody. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to come check out the World of Haiku, Haiku Forge. It's going to be released in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out. Join the Haiku Discord server if you want to stay up to date on what's going on. Look to social media for all types of updates, and I look forward to seeing what kind of ranges you all release when it goes public. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Thanks all so very much, and we'll see you next Monday. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you all.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry.